was July 9th when the president boarded a steamship headed for Boston, Massachusetts. He'd been frantically trying to make his way back to his childhood home to be there by his dying father's side when the latter passed his final breath. Yet, a newspaper relayed the sad news to the worried commander-in-chief. 90-year-old President John Adams had died on July 4th, the nation's birthday. Buried one day before John Quincy Adams embarked on his journey home, the elder President Adams had already been interred in a small cemetery in his hometown of Quincy, Massachusetts. That burial ground, known as Hancock Cemetery, exists today as a historical site. Guy here for These Bloody Streets, and today we're here in Quincy to explore that cemetery. Settled in 1624 and officially founded in 1642, Quincy is situated just south of Boston and proudly holds the title of City of Presidents, being the birthplace of both John Adams and John Quincy Adams. The cemetery has been a burial ground since at least the 1630s. It sits adjacent to what was the colonial military training ground. Both Presidents Adams and their first ladies were originally interred in Hancock Cemetery. Eventually, all of their remains were relocated to the Unified First Parish Church, which sits parallel to the cemetery. Note that Woodrow and Edith Wilson are the only other presidential couple interred in a church mausoleum. The cemetery houses the remains of other distinguished Quincy residents, including historian Henry Adams, city founder John Quincy, and Revolutionary War patriot Josiah Quincy. The cemetery was added to the National Registry of Historic Places in 1982. Having grown up in the greater Boston area, I remember the cemetery as being somewhat remote and inaccessible. But in the past few decades, the city of Quincy has worked diligently to restore it. The site is not just a cemetery, it's a profound historical landmark, serving as the final resting place for veterans from 3 centuries of conflict, those who fought in King Philip's War, the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, and the Civil War. The last burial occurred here in 1887. As we navigate through the cemetery, pay close attention to the colonial graves adorned with skulls and wings, the American flags that honor veterans from our country's early wars, and the impressive obelisks sculpted out of Quincy granite. Each element tells a part of a rich history that defines these sacred grounds. Now let's explore. Thank you so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting like and subscribing. See you on the next walk.